Hello and welcome to a new vlog and trip report. Today we're taking a look at the Eyach Valley Railway. We're going from Hechingen to Eyach, and here on the map you can see our route today. Just like the railway line in the last video, also this one is only operated on Sundays and public holidays in the summer season between the 1st of May and October. As a touristy, hiking and biking railway line, the trains are not starting at their regular station of Hechingen, but you have to walk down to the station Hechingen and Eyach. It's right next to the regular station, just a couple of meters lower, and from there you can take the train to Eyach, but as I mentioned, only on Sundays and public holidays. Additionally, there's also one regular train from Monday to Friday starting here at this platform. And now it's time to take a look at the arrival of my train today. So as you can see, the train today is another Lint 54 of the SWEG. You can take a look at the interior once again. It's a train in the Bewegt design, so basically it's exactly the same train like in the last video, with base of 4 and airline style seats, both with tables. Power sockets are only to be found at a base of 4. Between the doors there is a big multi-purpose area with space for bicycles and wheelchairs, and we're now taking a seat at the front part of the train, and I took a bay of 4 as there were not many travelers on this train today. So here you can see there's a big table and also power sockets are available. But now it's time to take a look at the departure of our train here at Hechingen and Eyach.
Wir wünschen Ihnen eine angenehme Reise. Die SWEG fährt für Bewegt. RB 67 nach Eyach. Nächste Station, Rangendingen.
From Hechingen Landesbahn we're heading to Rangendingen, Stetten by Haigerloch, Bad Imnau, Müringen, and then we are reaching Eyach. The first part of the railway line is not too spectacular. It's getting spectacular when we are reaching Stetten by Haigerloch. This railway line was opened in 1901 between Eyach and Stetten and was lengthened to Hechingen in 1912, and operations were ceased in 1972 and 1973. Starting in 2008 there were trains again, some touristy trains only traveling on selected Sundays, and then there were more and more trains, and now there are trains every Sunday and on public holidays between 1st of May and October, intended mainly for tourists that want to go on a hike or are traveling with a bike. We just stopped at Rangendingen and now we're getting closer to Stetten by Haigerloch, which is where the railway line is getting more spectacular, as we are then reaching the Eyach Valley. The Eyach is a small river that we are then following all the way until the final stop of the train, which is also called Eyach. And now it's time to listen to the sound of a train once again. Here we are now approaching the Eyach Valley. We are crossing the river for the first time. Here we can see it below us, and now we are reaching the station of Stetten by Haigerloch. And as I've mentioned, that means that we're now coming to the most spectacular part of the railway line, as we are now constantly following the river Eyach. My recommendation is to sit on the right side when you're going from Hechingen to Eyach, and on the left side when you're going from Eyach to Hechingen, as you will have the river always on your side then, and you will also see the most spectacular view of the whole railway line, which we will see in a couple of minutes. Here you can already see the typical landscape, you can see the beautiful river, green nature, and that's the landscape for the next 14 kilometers until we reach Eyach. The most beautiful part of the railway line is Haigerloch, which also calls itself Felsenstädtchen, which means small rock village, as it is in a beautiful location between rocks and the river Eyach, in two river bends of the Eyach. And we're now approaching it. To get there we have to cross the Haigerloch tunnel, which is 146 meters long. Here we're going into the tunnel, and as soon as we're getting out of the tunnel we're gonna have a fantastic and extremely beautiful view. As you can see here, this is the beautiful charming town of Haigerloch. We can see the castle church and the castle of Haigerloch on top of the mountain and the town down below. As you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. So my recommendation, if you have a bit more time than me, is to start in Hechingen, for example, and then leave the train in Haigerloch, explore this beautiful city that you can only reach by train on Sundays and public holidays, and then take the next train on to Eyach. On other days you would have to take a bus to get to Haigerloch, so my recommendation is to visit on a Sunday. Here we are at the station of Haigerloch, which also has 2 tracks, so there could be a crossing with an oncoming train, but of course there are no oncoming trains at the moment, as there is only this train that we are traveling on right now. If you're visiting Haigerloch, it's very important that you do not go back in the same direction, but you continue on after your visit, as the part between Haigerloch and Eyach is the more beautiful part of the railway line, but between Haigerloch and Hechingen you have this beautiful view of Haigerloch. So we are now going through beautiful green landscape, always following the river Eyach, and we have 2 more stops in Bad Imnau and Müringen before reaching Eyach. Both in Hechingen and in Eyach there are good connections. In Hechingen you can change for a train to Sigmaringen and Tübingen, and sometimes also on to Gammertingen. This railway line will also be part of a video soon. And in Eyach you have a connection on to Horb and Tübingen. Here we are approaching the next stop, Bad Imnau. There we are also stopping right next to a big water company called Imnauer Mineralquellen Apollo-Quelle, and then we're heading on to Müringen and Eyach. In Eyach, in my case, you had a good connection to Horb, just a couple of minutes of transfer time, and later on there was also a train on to Tübingen. I decided to go to Tübingen, which turned out to be a mistake. Both from Tübingen and from Horb you have connections onto Stuttgart. There are more trains between Tübingen and Stuttgart than between Horb and Stuttgart, that's why I chose Tübingen, but there was a connection time of only 5 minutes, and my train between Eyach and Tübingen was delayed by exactly 5 minutes, and unfortunately the train didn't wait, so it would have been faster to go via Horb. But in Horb you have to be careful, as there are not that much trains to Stuttgart, so there might be a longer transfer time. We are now slowly approaching the end of the line. We are getting closer to Eyach. Now the last meters of this railway line we are crossing the river Eyach. We're only crossing this river 2 times on the whole length of the line. For the first time before reaching the station of Stetten, and for the second and last time here shortly before reaching the station of Eyach. Here we are crossing the Eyach, and then we are approaching the station Eyach Landesbahn. There's also a connection to the so-called Obere Neckarbahn, Upper Neckar Railway, between Horb and Tübingen, but apparently it's not usable at the moment. And anyway, we're stopping at the station Eyach Landesbahn, but from there it's just a walk of around 20 meters to reach the station for the connecting trains. Here we can see the train at the platform, and then you just have to cross the road. On the other side you can already see the station building, and behind the building are the platforms of the trains to Horb and Tübingen. And that means that we're now coming to the end of this video. In the next video we will continue somewhere else. Here you can see when this video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and hope to see you in my next video then.